Well, hi there, Internet. My name's Court, and you've got courtside seats for my review of A Ghost Story. Let's do it. A Ghost Story is a drama film which stars Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara. It was written and directed by Pete's Dragon director David Lowery. In the singular exploration of legacy, love, loss, and the enormity of existence, a recently deceased white-sheeted ghost returns to his suburban home to try to reconnect with his bereft wife. I gotta say, I was really curious about this movie ever since I saw the trailer a couple of months ago. I knew the film was very divisive. I've read a couple reviews. Some of the reviews say things like, it's an absolutely haunting, emotional story that left me in tears, and other reviews are like, F this movie, don't go see this movie. So I really wanted to see it to see where I would fall, and I fall kind of in the middle. I'm kind of leaning towards disliking this movie, but there are some good things in there, which is why I want to talk about it. Now, I will have a couple of mild spoilers in this video. It's not like a totally spoiler-free video, but I'll put a warning up on the screen so you can scrub ahead if you want to skip them. So Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara are a couple. They live in this home in the suburbs, and one day, very early in the film, he gets into a car crash and is killed. And he returns as a ghost, that old school from when you were a kid, like the white sheet with the little eye holes. That's how he's manifested as a ghost. And he returns to his home and sort of I don't want to say haunts, this isn't a horror movie, but he sort of inhabits the home and has to watch Rooney Mara. It's never made clear if they're married or just a couple, but he has to watch her mourning his loss and then moving on and then moving out, and then other families move in, and it just takes place over the span of many, many years. I want to talk about the good first. I really liked the presentation of this movie. It's very interesting. It's a 1:33:1 aspect ratio, which is kind of boxy. I showed a bit of the trailer early in the video, so you may have noticed there, but it's got the corners of the box are rounded. It looks very much like a home movie, which is cool because so much of this movie is about legacy, memory. So I thought that really worked very nicely. I really like the image of the sheeted ghost. I thought that was really cool. Now, Casey Affleck's a big dude, so he's an imposing figure anyway. And it looks very sort of wraith-like. I like that it's kind of a blank canvas and also like an empty shell of a human. It really worked very nicely for me. There's a pie scene. I want to talk about the pie scene. So shortly after he dies, he comes back to the house and Rooney Mara comes in and someone's left her a pie, as you do when someone you know loses a loved one, you give them food. And there's a scene where she sits down and just crushes this pie. Now, one thing I loved about the scene was it wasn't Oscar bait at all. It wasn't sobbing and crying, why? It was none of that. It's a very understated moment, but the only way you can tell that she's crying is she's sniffling a little bit, and there's like one teardrop that's like hanging off her nose for most of the scene. But she annihilates this pie. She just eats the whole pie. I feel really bad for Rooney Mara. I hope they got that on the first take, because she's very clearly eating the pie. And the whole pie. Man, you're gonna get sick if you have to do a bunch of takes of that. But I thought it was a good moment. I mean, we all, when you're grieving, when you're mourning the loss of somebody you love, everyone reacts differently. We all do weird little things, and sitting down eating a pie while sort of quietly crying to yourself, I thought that was like really emotionally truthful. But we'll come back to that scene. Now, here's one of the spoilers I want to talk about, and it's really not a big thing, but I'll put a spoiler warning up just so you know. But this was my favorite aspect of the movie. At one scene, Casey Affleck's ghost goes to the window and is looking across the way at another house, a neighbor's house, and there's a ghost in there too. They have a bit of a conversation, which is all done in subtitles. So the other ghost says hello, and Casey Affleck says hi, and the other ghost says, I'm waiting for somebody. And Casey Affleck says, who? And the other ghost says, I don't remember. That was really sad. That was heartbreaking. Just the fact that you've been waiting for so long that you don't even remember who you're waiting for, like that one hit me. Now I want to talk about the bad. Remember that pie scene I was talking about? Yeah. That scene's like 7 minutes long. Now I get it. I get what he was going for. I've mourned people close to me and sometimes like time just draws out like crazy. I get it. But 7 minutes of eating a pie with no dialogue? At what point is it just too much? Like a 3-minute scene, which 3 minutes of no dialogue on camera is a long time. Now, I don't know that it was exactly 7 minutes, but it was like really, really long. 3 minutes would have gotten the exact same point across just as effectively, if not more effectively. At what point are you just adding nothing but time? I'll get back to that point later. There's also a scene with Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara right in the beginning, and they're in bed and they kiss a couple times and whatever, and there's very little dialogue, and that scene goes on for like 5 minutes. I get it. They love each other and they're having a moment but it doesn't need to be 5 minutes long. I kind of feel like this movie was just trying to add time so it could be a feature, but I'll talk about that later. Now, I'm a huge sap. Okay, I get emotional in movies very easily. And that's why I go to movies. That's why I love movies. I want a cathartic response. I want to be made to cry or laugh or made angry or whatever. I'm paying my money. You gotta make me feel something. And I get teary really, really easily. This movie didn't get me there at all. And I think part of the problem was there was so little character development that I just wasn't invested in the characters. I didn't really care. The third act of this film is really unfocused. It kind of feels like it doesn't know where it's trying to go or what it's trying to be. I'm gonna say another little spoiler here. He stays in the house, she moves out, other families move in, they move out, the house is torn down, they build a skyscraper, he inhabits the skyscraper, and then it's like way in the future and it looks like Blade Runner, and then it goes back in time to like the 18th century and you see the house being built. And again, I get it. He's inhabiting this period, this place for all time. Like, I get it, but it was just going off on these weird tangents that didn't really culminate into anything that made a whole lot of sense or had a whole lot of payoff. I think that this film had enough good going for it that if it had been like a 15-minute short film, it could have been amazing. But I think they just tried really hard to make it a feature, and it really, to me, just ground to a halt at the beginning of the third act. I didn't hate it. I certainly didn't love it. Take that for what you will. Now, I don't have a proprietary rating system as of yet, so I'm just trying to think of what I'm going to give a Ghost Story. And I think I'm going to give a Ghost Story a... what the f*** was Kesha doing in this movie? Out of 10. So now I want to know, have you seen a Ghost Story? What did you think? Did it cripple you emotionally, or were you bored by it? Did you like the bedsheet thing? Did you think it was cool? Did you think it was lame? I thought it was cool. Whatever your thoughts, hit the comments below and let's discuss. If you enjoyed this review, please smash that like button and give it a share if you really enjoyed it. And consider subscribing to my channel for more movie reviews, entertainment news, trailer reactions, all that kind of good stuff. If you want to do that, you can do so by clicking the Courtshake logo at the bottom right of your screen. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.